Judges. Chapter 9. Verse 1. Abimelech son of Jerub-Baal went to his mother's brothers in Shechem and said to them and to all his mother's clan. Verse 2. Ask all the citizens of Shechem, which is better for you, to have all 70 of Jerub-Baal's sons rule over you, or just one man? Remember, I am your flesh and blood. Verse 3. When the brothers repeated all this to the citizens of Shechem, they were inclined to follow Abimelech, for they said, he is related to us. Verse 4. They gave him 70 shekels of silver from the temple of Baal-berith. And Abimelech used it to hire reckless scoundrels, who became his followers. Verse 5. He went to his father's home in Ophrah and on one stone murdered his 70 brothers, the sons of Jerub-Baal. But Jotham, the youngest son of Jerub-Baal, escaped by hiding. Verse 6. Then all the citizens of Shechem and Beth Millo gathered beside the great tree at the pillar in Shechem to crown Abimelech king. Verse 7. When Jotham was told about this, he climbed up on the top of Mount Gerizim and shouted to them, listen to me, citizens of Shechem, so that God may listen to you. Verse 8. One day the trees went out to anoint a king for themselves. They said to the olive tree, be our king. Verse 9. But the olive tree answered, should I give up my oil, by which both gods and humans are honored, to hold sway over the trees? Single quote. Verse 10. Next, the trees said to the fig tree, come and be our king. Verse 11. But the fig tree replied, should I give up my fruit, so good and sweet, to hold sway over the trees? Single quote. Verse 12. Then the trees said to the vine, come and be our king. Verse 13. But the vine answered, should I give up my wine, which cheers both gods and humans, to hold sway over the trees? Single quote. Verse 14. Finally all the trees said to the thornbush, come and be our king. Verse 15. The thornbush said to the trees, if you really want to anoint me king over you, come and take refuge in my shade. But if not, then let fire come out of the thornbush and consume the cedars of Lebanon. Single quote. Verse 16. Have you acted honorably and in good faith by making Abimelech king? Have you been fair to Jerub-Baal and his family? Have you treated him as he deserves? Verse 17. Remember that my father fought for you and risked his life to rescue you from the hand of Midian. Verse 18. But today you have revolted against my father's family. You have murdered his 70 sons on a single stone and have made Abimelech, the son of his female slave, king over the citizens of Shechem because he is related to you. Verse 19. So have you acted honorably and in good faith toward Jerub-Baal and his family today? If you have, may Abimelech be your joy, and may you be his. 2. Verse 20. But if you have not, let fire come out from Abimelech and consume you, the citizens of Shechem and Beth Millo. And let fire come out from you, the citizens of Shechem and Beth Millo, and consume Abimelech. Quote. Verse 21. Then Jotham fled, escaping to Beer, and he lived there because he was afraid of his brother Abimelech. Verse 22. After Abimelech had governed Israel 3 years. Verse 23. God stirred up animosity between Abimelech and the citizens of Shechem so that they acted treacherously against Abimelech. Verse 24. God did this in order that the crime against Jerub-Baal's 70 sons, the shedding of their blood, might be avenged on their brother Abimelech and on the citizens of Shechem, who had helped him murder his brothers. Verse 25. In opposition to him these citizens of Shechem set men on the hilltops to ambush and rob everyone who passed by. And this was reported to Abimelech. Verse 26. Now Gaal son of Ebed moved with his clan into Shechem, and its citizens put their confidence in him. Verse 27. After they had gone out into the fields and gathered the grapes and trodden them, they held a festival in the temple of their God. While they were eating and drinking, they cursed Abimelech. Verse 28. Then Gaal son of Ebed said, "Who is Abimelech? And why should we Shechemites be subject to him? Isn't he Jerub-Baal's son? And isn't Zebul his deputy? Serve the family of Hamor, Shechem's father. Why should we serve Abimelech?" Verse 29. If only this people were under my command, then I would get rid of him. I would say to Abimelech, "Call out your whole army." Verse 30. When Zebul the governor of the city heard what Gaal son of Ebed said, he was very angry. Verse 31. Under cover he sent messengers to Abimelech, saying, "Gaal son of Ebed and his clan have come to Shechem and are stirring up the city against you." Verse 32. Now then, during the night you and your men should come and lie in wait in the fields. Verse 33. In the morning at sunrise, advance against the city. When Gaal and his men come out against you, seize the opportunity to attack them. Verse 34. Sir Abimelech and all his troops set out by night and took up concealed positions near Shechem in 4 companies. Verse 35. Now Gaal son of Ebed had gone out and was standing at the entrance of the city gate just as Abimelech and his troops came out from their hiding place. Verse 36. When Gaal saw them, he said to Zebul, "Look, people are coming down from the tops of the mountains." Zebul replied, "You mistake the shadows of the mountains for men." Verse 37. But Gaal spoke up again. "Look, people are coming down from the central hill, and a company is coming from the direction of the diviner's tree." Verse 38. Then Zebul said to him, "Where is your big talk now? You who said, 'Who is Abimelech that we should be subject to him?' Aren't these the men you ridiculed? Go out and fight them." Verse 39. So Gaal led out the citizens of Shechem and fought Abimelech. Verse 40. Abimelech chased him all the way to the entrance of the gate, and many were killed as they fled. Verse 41. Then Abimelech stayed in Arumah, and Zebul drove Gaal and his clan out of Shechem. Verse 42. The next day the people of Shechem went out to the fields, and this was reported to Abimelech. Verse 43. So he took his men, divided them into 3 companies and set an ambush in the fields. When he saw the people coming out of the city, he rose to attack them. Verse 44. Abimelech and the companies with him rushed forward to a position at the entrance of the city gate. Then 2 companies attacked those in the fields and struck them down. Verse 45. All that day Abimelech pressed his attack against the city until he had captured it and killed its people. Then he destroyed the city and scattered salt over it. Verse 46. On hearing this, the citizens in the tower of Shechem went into the stronghold of the temple of El-Berith. Verse 47. When Abimelech heard that they had assembled there. Verse 48. He and all his men went up Mount Zalmon. He took an axe and cut off some branches, which he lifted to his shoulders. He ordered the men with him, "Quick, do what you have seen me do." Verse 49. So all the men cut branches and followed Abimelech. They piled them against the stronghold and set it on fire with the people still inside. So all the people in the tower of Shechem, about 1,000 men and women, also died. Verse 50. Next Abimelech went to Thebes and besieged it and captured it. Verse 51. Inside the city, however, was a strong tower, to which all the men and women, all the people of the city, had fled. They had locked themselves in and climbed up on the tower roof. Verse 52. Abimelech went to the tower and attacked it. But as he approached the entrance to the tower to set it on fire. Verse 53. A woman dropped an upper millstone on his head and cracked his skull. Verse 54. Hurriedly he called to his armor-bearer, "Draw your sword and kill me, so that they can't say, 'A woman killed him.'" So his servant ran him through, and he died. Verse 55. When the Israelites saw that Abimelech was dead, they went home. Verse 56. Thus God repaid the wickedness that Abimelech had done to his father by murdering his 70 brothers. Verse 57. God also made the people of Shechem pay for all their wickedness. The curse of Jotham son of Jerub-Baal came on them.